Hey, Steph.
Hello, Anna.
Welcome back to another episode of Bariatric Banter podcast. Pew, pew,
Well,
pew.
we're back again.
We're back again. Welcome to the new bi-weekly format. Seems to be
Yeah.
working well. We love that you guys are hanging in there with us and tagging along on our new kind of format that we're releasing here.
Yeah.
It's
I
been
love it.
it's been awesome. We are going to put the banter back in bariatric banter podcast because we are going to banter about our week, bariatrics, what's
What's
going
going
on.
on?
We kind of, we went through the big main topics and now we can
Yeah.
finally run the podcast the way we want to, which is what we want to talk about.
Everyday things. What's going on?
Everyday
What we're
things.
dealing with, what we're struggling with, what we're seeing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Real
think something that I have to bring up right off the beginning is
Do it.
we got a comment on the podcast.
Here we go.
And this happens every now and then. We get like lovely comments from all of you, by the
Yes.
way. Like you guys give us the best topics to talk about, and we love reading the comments. This one, and like
Wah,
stuff,
wah.
you're gonna laugh when you hear
Oh,
it. But
no. I'm ready.
it kind of popped up. I was taking a peek at it, and let me see if I can bring it up on my phone because I laughed. I didn't think
Oh,
anything of
no.
it.
Was
Decided
this
not.
an Instagram message or a Spotify comment?
No, this was on Spotify.
Oh, boy. I feel like for some reason, our Instagram messages are phenomenal. We get such great, positive, lovely messages on Instagram, and whenever
Yes.
somebody wants to, like, fight us on something or take a shot at us, it's always on a Spotify comment.
Always on Spotify. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
because it's anonymous or not, but somebody said, "Oh boy, too bad about the potty mouth. The odd F-bomb or whatever is fine, but this chick is just tacky."
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Wow.
thank you so much.
That's
User
oh,
Billy.
sorry, did
I
you say
love it.
tacky?
Tacky. I'm tacky.
You're
I mean,
tacky.
legit, I get it. Also, I'm not gonna stop swearing, it's just who I am. But
That's a
why I bring it up is, like, I don't care. I laughed so hard when I saw that comment.
that's,
And
you're
I was like,
tacky.
"Whatever. We're not engaging with stuff like that. We don't care."
No, and
Why
this is
is
not
it
a children's
women
podcast.
but, like, why is it women always get this comment?
Right.
Because I've noticed on, like, the Call Me Daddy podcast and even on, like, How
So
to Get
much.
Away with
Right.
Murder, they are consistently told this. Like, somebody was on Reddit talking about Call Me Daddy, and they were like, "It would be a better podcast if she didn't swear. What a trash person she is." And I was like, "Who gives a shit? Like, her podcast is hilarious. Like,
And
do you really?"
this is not a children's podcast.
No. But you're a woman and you're being
Not
tacky and distasteful because women shouldn't swear.
It's not becoming of a woman to have a potty mouth.
And it's like I listen to a dozen other podcasts, like How Did This Get Made, which is hilarious, my favorite
Yep.
podcast. A ton of other podcasts that are kind of male dominated, and I have never ever seen a comment
Hmm.
or an Instagram message or a Reddit post at all
No.
ever about their swearing.
Look at I don't listen to it, but I'm just I'm making an assumption, which I shouldn't do. But, like, Devin listens to Joe Rogan. I'm assuming
Ah,
there's gonna be foul language, and that's one of, like, the
yeah.
top-rated podcasts. But he's
Yep.
a dude, so it's fine.
Yeah, and so I get it, like,
No
if there's
fun.
older folks that listen, I get that it's a bit crass, and that's some that I get that,
Okay,
but
that's
I
good.
I grew up on the East Coast and, we have a bit of a sailor's mouth, and it is what it is, but I have toned it down a lot. This was
You
also a
have.
comment on, like, our 2nd episode ever where, like, yeah, it was a little much, but whatever. It's less about me because I get it, I do swear,
Yeah.
and sure, I'll work on it, but it's, like, not the
Well, the
first
fact that
podcast I've seen.
Yeah, just the fact that it's made.
It's just it seems to always be women, and it's the same
Yeah.
comment, like, "How dare you? This is terrible, blah, blah, blah," and it's like, "Okay, well, then just I'm sorry, but don't
Don't
listen.
listen.
Don't
Yeah.
listen."
No one's forcing you to listen to our podcast. We appreciate those of you who are, and we love having you here all the time, but no one's forcing you to. Like,
Yeah,
if you don't like the language, listen to something else.
yeah, away you go. There's actually a podcast episode from iHeartRadio, it's really, I can't remember the name of the podcast, but there's one about, like, the curse of swearing women, and it's
Oh.
so funny, and, like, I remember a friend sent it to me a while I think it's Stuff Mom Never Told You or something like that is the
Okay.
name of the podcast.
Yeah.
It's such a funny, good episode about, like, it's considered a masculine habit, and we're not supposed to be doing it,
Yeah.
and that there's just this profanity gender gap, And I have to admit, like, it's true. And I'll
It is
for
true.
whoever is against my swearing, I will say, yeah, I absolutely do swear at work, but, I'm a senior director. I'm pretty high up in what I do, and it has never held me back because if you've ever worked in tech, the amount of
Oh my
F
gosh, the
men drop,
language.
yeah.
Yeah, the
The
language.
amount that men are swearing in tech, like,
Mhm.
I've had men, grown men, yelling at twenty-something-year-old staff members, men and women, calling them, the F
Oh,
word,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
idiots, Montgomery, like, just berating them, and it's like, "Okay, I would never, never do that," but
Yeah.
occasionally, I'll say, like, "Guys, what the fuck happened with this? This should not
Yeah,
have happened like this."
yeah.
I'll
I
never
agree.
use my profanity against someone.
No, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, we're adults. If you can't handle that, like, what do you not watch TV or movies? Like,
Okay, but think about that. How often are women swearing in TV
that's
shows?
true. Yeah, not there's not many shows where the women are.
When's the last time Olivia Benson pulled up to court and was like, "Fuck this man, your honor." You
This is
know?
bullshit.
This is some bullshit. But anyway,
No,
that comment
yeah,
made me laugh, and I just
that
had
is
to open
funny.
the podcast
That
with that. 'Cause, like,
that is funny.
sorry to everybody who doesn't like the swearing. I have worked on toning it down a little
You
bit
have
since doing
significantly.
the podcast, but also it is just a part of who I am,
Yeah,
and it's just a
especially when you're
part of
passionate when you get passionate about something or fired up about something, it just
Mhm.
happens.
Or, like, you need comedic relief, like, sometimes it's funny to swear.
Mhm.
So,
Right?
it's who I am, it's how I was born and raised. I'm not offending my mother because she probably has a worse potty mouth than I do.
Mhm.
So, anyway, that just made me laugh, but I think
That's
we
a
have a few things we just wanna banter about today.
yeah, I think we're just gonna here comes
Shoot.
the swearing, we're just gonna shoot the shit,
Yeah, Steph, you're canceled.
right?
Uh,
I'm out.
yeah.
Kicked off the podcast.
Here we
Yeah.
go. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about was, we just recently shared on Instagram that story about protein
So
drinks.
crazy.
That's insane. So for
Ooh,
those who didn't
ah,
see our Instagram, because it was a story and it might disappear,
and we can't
CBC
share news
yeah,
article.
CBC did a giant news article, and I'm sorry, guys, we are Canadian, and so we actually can't share news
No,
links on Instagram. It's part
we're
of our
not
government.
allowed.
Yeah, there's a law that doesn't allow us, so we weren't allowed to link to it, but CBC, which is Canadian Broadcasting Corporation,
Yeah.
CBC put out a big article called Lead Levels in Protein Powder Shakes Flagged by Consumer Reports. The toxic heavy metal can build up in the human body over time. So basically, this Consumer Report, an independent nonprofit in the US, tested 23 popular protein products and found lead levels ranging from 0 to 7.7 micrograms per serving, which is like way beyond
Way yeah, what you
what
should
should
be
be in them.
consuming. It's
Now,
crazy.
of course, they didn't list which products they
Of course
tested,
not. Of course not.
but they did say they picked the most popular. So I'm sure we can all kind of infer what
Which
those
ones
would
they are.
be.
Yeah.
But this is terrifying. Now, of course, none of these products list that they have lead in them, obviously.
No, they're not.
Um, yeah,
But it's like
it's
cognitive it's just talking about, like, some of the things that can happen to you from too much or long-term exposure from lead and how
yeah.
it builds up in your tissues and your bones, and they talk about a little bit about kids, but, like, for adults,
Oof.
cognitive decline, mood disorders, chronic kidney disease, reproductive effects, like, it goes on and on and on.
It's
And
scary.
it is scary because it's not listed anywhere. I mean, I wish obviously, like I said, they're not going to. I wish they would list some of the products that they tested,
Mhm.
just so you would know, but it is pretty alarming, and I mean, like, our program always says to try to get your protein from whole foods, and we do, but that's not possible for everybody. It's not possible all the time. So, I think this just kind of reiterates what some of the program guidelines are saying, and it is true, like, we should be trying to get it from Whole Foods as much as we can, but
We
I'll
should.
be honest, like, I make protein coffee every day with a protein shake, so
I do too. Now,
yeah,
okay, one thing we should note for the Canadians, really sorry for my US counterparts. It did mention we have more stringent rules in Canada about what is allowed.
yeah,
But it did make a note that some of the things they tested are 100% available to Canadians to order
yes,
online,
yeah,
which is concerning because I have ordered protein powder off of Amazon and off of some US sites. I order Built Bars off of their website.
yeah,
It also said, and I think this is important to note and interesting, the
yeah,
majority that were the worst and the majority that actually came back with lead were plant-based
right,
versus, like an animal-based protein. I think they said, like, overwhelming majority of the 23 were plant-based.
Yeah, it said that they did dairy, beef, and plant-based protein supplements such as protein
Mm.
powders and ready to drink. But yeah, the majority were your vegan or plant-based proteins. But
Yeah,
still,
and
like,
those were the ones that came back with the most lead is what we're
yeah,
saying. Those, so quite
crazy.
interesting, and so they did say if you just had a protein shake or like, it wouldn't be enough, but the fear
No.
is that now, even if you're not bariatric,
Yeah.
people are consuming protein daily,
Oh
multiple
my
times.
gosh, yeah. And if you're doing it, that's just it, right? Multiple times a day and day in and day out. It's the buildup of it, right? It's not like you said, it's not like you're having one here and there. It's the constant, continual buildup if it is something you're doing all the time. So I kind of wish, yeah, I kind of wish they would say um,
I did find
which
an
ones it
article.
was.
I did
Yeah.
find one that said it. So, unfortunately, there are some on
Oh,
here that I do
oh
recognize, which is
no.
a little concerning. So they tested each one. They looked for arsenic, cadmium, lead, mercury, aluminum. Like, they basically looked for all the heavy metals,
Right.
lead being the one that was just absurd. California has a law that it has to be really low levels of lead, zero point 0.5 micrograms, and unfortunately, they found a bunch that were at 7.7, which is well beyond what a
Jeez.
normal human is supposed to have. Um, so over two-thirds of them actually had lead that was as high as 7.7. That's
Right.
so scary. So they basically say here, "Do not consume Naked Nutrition Vegan Mass Gainer,
Mm-hmm.
or Huel, Huel Black Edition,
Yep.
Garden of Life Sport Organic Plant-Based Protein, or Momentous Plant Protein." And then the other ones, they said of the rest of these, you need to only have them 2 times a week, which,
Okay.
like, uh-oh, some people are having this 2 times a day. Now
Right.
here's the one that's concerning because we can buy it here, and I've seen it.
Vega.
Okay, guys,
There
this is where
you
I know it's gonna be sad. Optimum Nutrition, Vega,
go. Mm-hmm.
Vega, Quest protein shakes,
No.
Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard protein shake. I've bought their powder off Amazon.
So far,
Um,
I'm good. So far, I'm in the clear.
Ensure
Mhm.
plant-based protein mix, Muscle Milk,
Nope, I'm good.
Chaos Organic, Kaos Organic. Um, the rest of them I don't know.
No.
For the Americans, I'll just read the rest of them. Muscle Meds Carnivore Mass, Jocko Fuel, Organic, Equip Foods, Plant Fusion, and Advanced, oh, no, the rest I've read. So
Yeah.
Own, sorry, the last one is Own, OWYN. I have seen that in the States when I've traveled for work. I've seen their
Mm,
protein shakes, like, at the grocery stores and stuff.
yeah.
A really big concern for me is I've bought Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard Whey protein powder off Amazon.
Mm,
I literally have had their chocolate protein powder because I thought it was
yeah.
amazing. So I know a lot of people that buy that off Amazon.
Right.
I know a ton of people that do the Quest protein shakes, and
Yep.
I know a lot of
Agree.
people that buy Vega.
I
And
when
Vega
I
you can get
first
here.
Vegas so I Vegas gro Vegas gross, I think at least. When I first
Vega's
started
disgusting.
yeah, when I first started working out and, like, getting more consistent years ago, I remember I drank some of the Vega shakes because I forget somebody recommended them to me, and I
Mhm.
remember buying them and buying, like, a six-pack and taking a couple sips of the one and just thinking, "How the hell am I gonna finish this damn six-pack?" Because it was gross, so, knock on wood, I'm good on there.
They did
I don't use those, so I'm
no,
okay
I'm
for now.
concerned that I did use Optimum Nutrition
But at
for
least you don't use it like, you're not using it every day. You did
no, and
use
I'm no longer having multiple protein snacks or drinks a
Mhm.
day. In your first year, you do way more than you do now because I get a lot of my stuff from nutrition, and I just don't. Back when I was first out of surgery, I would have, like, a whole shake, and I'd have a bar and,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, supplementing, but, like, now I maybe have a protein bar twice a week. I maybe
Yep,
have, like, I do use my Premier protein, and so help me
me
God
too.
if Premier was on here.
I would
I
cry because that's what
I
I use
wouldn't know
every
what
day.
to
I
do.
I either use Premier Protein or sometimes because I am cheap, I, will use Alani because it's cheaper.
Yeah, so
Um,
Alana's not
but
on here, Premier's
no,
not
so if
on
either of those were on here, I would literally cry because that's my morning that's, like, my everyday. I
we
am
also
my program would shoot me if they knew I was drinking a protein coffee every day, but so be it. That's just
tough
my choice,
tough titties.
right?
They did take note, like, for like, in the Canadian articles anyway, because what I'm
Yes.
reading is an American article.
Yeah.
In the Canadian, articles, they did say, like, Canada has much higher protection, so anything that is manufactured for Canada has to hit a minimum threshold. It more or less said if you were ordering from American websites or
Yes.
non-Canadian stores. So, like, for example, if you bought Vega here, it might not
Might
be
be
the same
okay.
Vega unless you ordered it off the internet. They've also made a note here that Vega has already changed their recipe.
Oh, there
They've
you go.
changed the name of the product to Vega Protein and Recovery, and they
Perfect.
now get their pea protein from the US instead of China.
Oh, so they may be in the clear then at this point. Who knows?
Yeah, there was one sorry, Paul was singing the song of his people. There was one thing that was a bit concerning noted as well that said some protein, even in Canada, is now changing their self to be a, like, what do they say it was? They were going from supplement to, like, a health food product or, like, a holistic
Oh,
product. I
interesting.
I'm probably butchering this, but basically they were changing the category they were
Yeah.
in to get
Huh.
out of, like, a food category into another category that's not as regulated, and I was like,
Gotcha.
"That's not okay." That's
Yeah.
concerning as well.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
Sketchy. Sketchy, sketchy.
So, I mean, there's nothing that anybody could have done, like,
No, it
nobody
is
would have
what it is at
known,
this point, but now you know moving forward.
yeah, and just, like, I'm not knocking, plant-based, like, if you're a vegan, if you're vegetarian, you need plant-based, you gotta do what you gotta do, but it does seem to be that a lot of the problems
Are in the
kind
plant.
I think of dog food, and I really hate to compare the 2, but there's, because I had a puppy, and he's now, like, a year and a half, and he's sitting here looking at me. When I first adopted him, they had him on a raw, like, no grain diet, and they
Yep.
told me, like, "You had to stay with a no grain diet, it was really good." My vet was then like, "Absolutely not, like, a no
Yep.
grain diet is so bad for dogs." Like, there's
Yeah.
been studies and stuff saying it's causing major heart defects in them. So he's not on a grain-free diet, but the reasoning was a lot of these companies made their products too quickly, wanted to get in on this, and started pumping it full of peas and lentils and legumes,
Mhm.
and that
Filler,
was
basically.
yeah, it was causing huge issues where they were dying from heart disease younger than they should have. They've
Yes.
since changed their formulas, but this just feels oddly similar where I'm seeing pea protein being the problem again. So
Right.
I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I'm just saying this is now twice in my life in two completely different circumstances that pea protein has been brought up as a kind of health concern.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you are
Something
vegan,
to keep in mind, right?
if you're taking vegan or vegetarian supplements and protein, just be aware of this study that's out there because
Yeah.
majority of the ones that had the highest lead were actually plant-based. So I don't know if that's from processing the vegetables and legumes or majority of plant-based is also pea-based. I
Mhm.
don't know what the other form of vegan, but I know majority of the vegan
Pea is a big
is pea protein. And the reason I mention this is I'm almost certain that the Starbucks Tim Hortons rollout, one of them is using a plant-based protein. I wanna say
I
Starbucks.
was gonna just about to say, I'm pretty sure it's Starbucks.
Mhm.
Pretty sure.
So,
Not
just
100%.
something to keep in mind, just something to keep in mind.
Exactly. It's just another thing to think about, and like you said, we're always recommended to try and use whole foods as much as possible. Yeah, like, and when you're newer, we'll say fresher out of surgery, you don't have as much space to eat the whole foods. You can't have a lot of the whole foods. So you
Yeah.
do rely heavily on the protein shakes, the protein powders, adding protein powder to yogurt, protein bars, that kind of stuff. And then as you continue through your recovery and you can start eating more food, then you want to start relying more on that. But like I just said, I have a protein coffee every day. It is what it is. It works for me. I enjoy it. It tastes good, so I do it. But
I
luckily, it's
and
one of the products.
I use Premier Protein as my creamer in my coffee, and yes, you're right, the further out you get, the more you're kind of getting protein from additional sources. Now you still need to supplement, like, there are definitely still days where it's just not possible, especially
Sure.
because an egg has, what,
Oh my
6 grams
gosh,
of
it drives me
protein? It's like,
bananas.
"Uh,
Lack of
why?
protein in an egg drives me
You
bonkers.
you
Like,
goddamn eggs, like,
right? It makes me so mad because I'll eat an egg and I'm just now at the point where I can pretty much eat 2 eggs, and I remember the first day that I could eat the 2, I was so excited, and I put it in my phone and to track it, and the protein popped up, and I was like I was so upset.
so mad,
Yeah, I was
so
so
mad.
finally eat 2 eggs. I'm like, "Good solid breakfast," and then I look at
Yep.
the protein count, and I was like, "Well, that's not substantial, so but now I'm full, but what am I supposed to
There's
do?" So,
there is more protein in a cup of quinoa than there is in eggs. Like,
so
that
frustrating.
you know what? You could have the same protein in an egg is in a quarter cup of almonds. Like,
Yeah.
eggs, what's going on? Okay, like, come on.
They're full of great other things, but,
I
yeah, not that. And then I got really not upset, but, I was big I still am, I'm a big fan of, pizza cottage cheese bowls, and it's so
ooh,
funny because I don't like cottage cheese. I'm just gonna preface by
I
saying that
love it.
people who, like, take food and dip it in cottage cheese or
Oh,
people
no,
who
I'm not
with
that weird.
no,
No,
or, like,
no.
fruit and cottage cheese or that just
No, that's
no. Or, like,
no,
I
no.
see somebody eat a bite of cottage cheese and I wanna throw up. However, you make me a cottage cheese pizza bowl and I will annihilate it. I love them. So, they were a good staple of mine. I haven't even told you this yet. They were a good staple of mine because I liked just the flavor. I felt like I was getting pizza. They had a good amount of protein in it. It was substantial.
Okay.
It filled me out. They were a staple, hands down, in my week. Like, I would eat them multiple times a week for
Yeah.
lunch, for dinner. And then I was saying how I was stalled out again and how my scale was going up again,
Oh.
and I was constantly bloated. And I couldn't figure out this is like the past 2 weeks, I got down to 175, and then within a week and a half, I was back up to 177. And I was like, I'm working out, I'm tracking my food, I'm hitting my goals, what is happening? But noticing I was super bloated. So I looked at my nutrition, I looked at my numbers, I did some Googling, and I cut my sodium down. I was still within so when I was tracking my food, I was still within the range of what is considered okay for sodium, which I think is 2,300, whatever the number, milligrams, whatever the measurement is. But then I kept reading and it said, yes, 2,300 is within like the range of what you can have a day or what's recommended, but the ideal recommended range for sodium is 1,500.
Yes.
So I cut my sodium down to 1,500 in my tracking, and I 3 days went and checked and made sure I stayed either 1,500 or lower. In 3 days, the scale went from 177.4 to 173.6,
Water retention and yeah,
right?
yeah, man.
So, the shitty part is, though, cottage cheese, high in sodium,
Oh,
which I
that's
didn't
very interesting. Like
I
how
know.
see, like I have high blood pressure, it runs in my
Yep,
family.
yep.
And I've been able to like it has I've been able to come off my medication since having surgery because we've
Mhm.
gotten it where it needs to be. However,
Yep,
it's probably something that will come back because
right.
it's genetic at this point. So I try my best to be like low sodium or no sodium broth,
Yeah,
no salt seasoning, blah 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 blah. Now I do add it in here and there because I we'll have to do a whole episode on this because I need to do like a whole welcome to the math of running. Because if I'm running, I need to increase my sodium to a
yep,
certain level. Because if not, so like it's a whole balancing act. And I'm glad you're measuring it because even if you don't have high blood pressure, you guys need to know how much sodium you're burning through, especially if you're exercising.
right.
Cottage cheese is high in sodium? Like,
So
get
a a third of a cup of 1%, oh, there goes my dog. A third of a cup of 1% cottage cheese is 180 milligrams of sodium.
yeah, it says a half a cup is 290, so yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Which when you're at 1,500 a day, that's so I went through, like, all of my nutrition tracking, and when I looked at, like, what's the biggest culprit across the board of my sodium, cottage cheese was at the top every time, which was a bit of
The
a
hard
bummer.
thing is, like, you're not gonna be able to like, I remember chicken breasts being high,
Yep,
and
that's
there's
another
nothing I could do about it, though, because,
No,
like, I
you can't.
physically can't say, "Suck it
There's
out."
certain things that you're just gonna have, like, even my, so Alani and Premier Protein, They've got about 240. Um, so it just becomes where do you wanna spend your sodium, right? And so for me, like we've talked about this before, I will make my protein coffee and I will make it in my big 32-ounce Stanley, and that will take me all morning to drink. So that I'm like, "Okay, that's a decent amount of sodium, but it's throughout the morning," versus looking at one little snack that's high in sodium and saying, is it
I
worth it?"
guess it makes sense that it is high in sodium because it's literally cheese, and, like, feta cheese is super
Right,
high in sodium. Um, and that you need you need salt to make cheese,
right?
so I guess
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
dang. I wonder if anybody makes a no salt added cottage cheese.
I'm gonna look next time I go to the store and just because now I'm being more cognizant of it now that I'm noticing it clearly has a huge impact on my body. Um, but like to so I said to Devin, I'm sorry, but there's certain things I'm not giving up. Like my protein coffee, I will sacrifice that chunk of my daily sodium for that. So be it. Um, Baby Bell, not horrible, but like two Baby Bell is 280 milligrams of sodium, so almost similar to the protein shake.
Yep,
So I mean, it really becomes it's like budgeting, right? You have X money, what are you going to spend it on? So I'm definitely being more cognizant of my sodium now that I've noticed how
interesting.
clearly big of an impact it has. But yeah, I was a little bit bummed that cottage cheese was the biggest culprit in most of my days as being my highest sodium
Yeah, and I mean,
aside from my protein. It's still
it's
not
not an
horrible.
astronomical amount, but
No,
it adds up, right? When, like,
that's
there's a
just
lot
it.
when
Yeah,
there's
when
things
you're
you
eating 6 times a day and everything has sodium, it's something that I wasn't paying attention I was paying attention to it in the sense that I had the 2,300 programmed in there. I was making sure I wasn't going over that,
oh,
but I wasn't
Jesus.
being overly cautious about it. But now that I've seen how big of an impact there's been by decreasing it just by that 800, I said to Devin, it's something that I think I need to be more cognizant about moving
Yeah,
forward for sure.
yeah, especially as we get older, like heart health and all that, like,
Right?
it is good to be aware of how much sodium goes in your body. Apparently,
Mhm.
and I'm not trying to get your hopes up, apparently, Sobeys sells a no salt added cottage cheese.
Okay. Good to know.
Are you gonna be able to find it? Probably not.
Probably not.
But
But I
apparently
will look. I will look.
oh, this is a whole thing. So there's a whole subreddit called low sodium,
Oh, there you go.
and people are asking about cottage cheese, and,
Yeah,
in America,
of
you have,
course.
like, a million options for
Of
this.
course. Why wouldn't you? Not here.
Dang. Also, apparently the pressed cottage cheese has way less sodium as well. So I think I wanna go to Costco and get some of that pressed cottage
Give it a
cheese and give
try,
that a try instead of feta, because 'cause I've become a bit addicted to feta in my eggs in the morning,
which
and I
is
think I need to
nice.
swap it out for that. Um, Also to our US listeners, Good Culture apparently has the lowest sodium content. So,
Hmm.
there you go for our American listeners, Good Culture, which I've heard is, like, the best cottage cheese
I've
in the
heard
world.
too where people are like, "They didn't have good culture, so I didn't buy any," when they go for cottage cheese. I was like, "Is it really that good?" But
I know, and, like, am
apparently
I getting I wanna
apparently.
go to the States. I'm getting that itch to, like, go shopping. I'm not gonna
Uh,
go,
right? I am
but
right there with you. I've
I'm
really
getting
been
the
missing
itch.
certain things, I'm not gonna lie.
Trader Joe's just put out some new bags that I really want, and I did message my mom, and I was like, "Oh, no. I really miss it." My mom's like, "I don't, and we're not going, so get over it." And I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, okay."
I really miss my Light and Fit yogurt. I really do.
My boss asked if I wanted to go to Atlanta next month, and I was like, "Mm, oh,
I
kinda."
know.
Find
Yeah.
it. Like, there's a conference. She's not just like, "Do you wanna go to Atlanta for fun?"
There's an actual reason.
But, would I go shopping there? Okay, but to bring it back to the
Yeah.
protein conversation, yeah, eggs are low,
Yep.
but with that being said,
Egg whites are good.
I think there's other things that we often always forget are really good that I just wanna highlight, like,
Yep.
3 ounces, which is what most of you will get to by the end of your first year, a 3-ounce serving of meat, but 3 ounces of chicken breast is
Mhm.
26.9 grams
Chicken's
of
my
protein.
go-to. Chicken is
Like,
always my go-to. I just cooked up a
turkey
chicken breast last night. Turkey's good.
Turkey's almost, like, identical, 25, almost
Yep.
identical. Now,
Turkey's
duck, I don't
yeah.
eat duck because it's kind of fat, I just don't like the taste of it, but duck is
Yeah.
25 as well. Um,
Pork's
those
good.
numbers are almost they're higher than beef. So I know that there's this big, like, you either like beef or you hate beef, you want to avoid, red meat or not, but, like, just so you know, red meat is not higher in protein at all compared to
No,
chicken, and
no.
the calories are much higher in red meat than
Yeah.
in
I'm
poultry.
I'm a chicken girl.
Me too. Now, I am also a fish person, and, like,
Shrimp,
shrimp are my go-to because 1 ounce of shrimp is 20 grams of protein.
which is amazing. I
It's
love
amazing. Like, I'll eat them with dip, I'll make whatever I wanna make with that, like, I love them.
yeah.
And then, like, salmon is obviously the next
Oh, can't
highest.
deny.
Salmon and tuna are both 22. It's awesome.
I think the other thing too that I did a story about this a while ago, and I should do another one. Um, but getting hung up on breakfast food. I
Yep,
have not recently, but in the last little while, because I was never a breakfast eater, but now I've had to become somebody who eats breakfast.
yep.
And I was getting so frustrated with the egg thing, um, that you don't have to eat what just because it's considered a breakfast food doesn't mean you have to eat it at breakfast, and just because it's typically considered a lunch or dinner food doesn't mean you can't eat it at breakfast either. So, I think we get so stuck in this breakfast has to be eggs or a shake or toast or cereal or whatever. Eat whatever you want for breakfast. I a lot of the time, like, my kids will laugh at me because I will have leftovers from dinner for breakfast. Like, I'll have chicken and veggies or whatever my dinner was for breakfast because I don't feel like number 1, I don't feel like eating typical breakfast. I get frustrated with the lack of protein in the eggs that I can have for the
Yep.
ratio of amount per protein. So,
Ding, ding, ding.
I'll eat a dinner food for breakfast. It doesn't have to be your typical standard breakfast food. Eat whatever you want at that time of day is how I'm looking at it. Like, I literally yesterday for breakfast had ground chicken and roasted cauliflower.
Yeah, I think getting over the hang up of breakfast food needs to be breakfast food
Yeah,
was, like, a big, and I know people are gonna be like, "Okay." It was a big revelation. It was a huge
right?
revelation
Me too
because
for me too.
I I love my ground turkey, like, freezer meals that
Yeah,
I've made, like, I
right?
love, and I'll dump that out, cube up some,
Yep,
sweet potatoes to make,
yep,
like, a little like, hash brown fries things,
yeah.
and I'll just put it on top of that, and I'll eat that, and I'm like, "Great," 'cause I need, like, I'm working on introducing more carbs into my diet, and so I do it that way, but it changed the game. Like, I don't need eggs, I don't need a breakfast sandwich, I don't need, like, I can literally have whatever I want. I probably won't be having shrimp for breakfast,
Well,
however,
right. I mean, if you want to go for it, but it just helps
not
set
the
the
stock
tone of
stuff.
the day that much better, and I think that was part of my, like to me, those items were always breakfast, and I didn't feel like eating that in the morning, so I just didn't eat breakfast. Well, who says
Same.
you can't have chicken and cauliflower for
Yeah,
breakfast? Nobody says you
it's
can't, you just think that you can't, and
I think they
hone
can't.
yeah, I felt so great after I had my chicken and roasted cauliflower. Number 1, it was delicious. Number 2,
Mhm.
then I felt full. I had a good amount of protein in me. I was satiated. Like, and I thought to myself, I'm like, why haven't I done this before?
So, yeah, like, Greek yogurt, I think I need to
Uh-huh.
get back in that habit. I don't know why in my mind I was like, "Eggs are better." So, a cup of Greek yogurt is 23 grams of protein, and that's
Yeah,
normal.
yeah.
Like, that's not even the high protein stuff we buy, and then, pro tip, the Vector protein cereal
Oh my
is
gosh.
amazing.
I bought that to try, and my kids ate 2 boxes of it before I even got
Yeah,
into it.
it tastes like, what is that cereal with the little pirate guy on it? Captain
Crunch.
Crunch?
Yeah.
It's the
I
same
bought
texture as Captain Crunch.
I bought maple and peanut butter, and I
Oh,
literally had
love
1
maple.
piece of each box, and then I let it sit because I had other stuff I needed to eat through first,
Yep.
and then I went to have some the other day, and both boxes were gone. And my kids are like, "This is so good."
I've
It's like,
only had peanut butter, and I'm not even, like, that big of a peanut butter cereal fan. Obsessed with it.
ugh,
How's
right?
maple?
It's really good. The bite that I got was really good. My kids said it was delicious. But yeah,
Okay.
like I do the Oikos high protein, and then I put if I get vanilla just because we know I have such a sweet tooth,
Oh, I
um,
always get a flavored one too.
I always get a flavored one, but if I have vanilla, I add a little drizzle of honey on top, and then I put
Ooh.
blueberries and or raspberries on top, and that is like a great breakfast for me. I
Yep,
love
I'm
it.
doing banana and blueberries, a little bit of
Nice.
the protein cereal,
Yep.
because I'm not gonna be able to have a full cup of yogurt, so I try to get a cup as my full serving with a half a cup of yogurt and then adding the other toppings, and then I found maple sugar, which is basically
Ooh.
maple syrup that they turned into sugar, so a little bit easier for me to, like, portion control it that way,
I love
and it
maple.
was to die for.
Maple anything, like, I'm sold. As soon
Oh,
as you say
100%.
maple, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm in."
Um, 100%. There's this brand I buy, and I'll share this on Instagram called Beck's Bone Broth Hot Chocolate, and I get it on well.ca, and
Yeah.
that's how they make their mint hot chocolate. It's,
Ugh.
beef protein powder, bear with me, guys, cacao powder, and then maple sugar. This is the most decadently rich hot chocolate. It's very low in sugar. It's got 15 grams of protein.
Mm,
It's, like, super to die for, and that's how I found out about maple sugar, and I was
there
like,
you go.
"Wow, Imma get
Bone broth
this."
bone broth is another one people forget about. It's so easy to just heat up a cup of bone broth and sip it like a
Like
tea.
tea.
And it's
Yes.
10 to 15 grams of protein depending on your bone broth typically. I buy, like, the individual packets off Amazon because bone broth can be really expensive. I forget what the brand is of mine, but I buy it in the individual packets on Amazon. It's not too bad. I think it's like eight
Oh,
ninety
nice.
nine a box. And I don't drink it all the time, but I find if my restriction is high or if I just have a morning where I just really I'm not hungry for whatever reason, or I just really am feeling off or not with
All of
it,
that.
I'll have that in the morning.
Is it the box with the chicken on it? It's like
Yes.
white. Yes,
Yeah.
okay. I buy theirs too. I can't think of the
Yeah.
brand name, but
Me
I get
neither.
their Thai lemongrass
I
flavor.
get the lemongrass one and the ginger,
Oh, I've
and
tried the
then
ginger.
the plain one. But
Okay, I
that's
have not
another really
tried
good thing to
ginger.
have, like, on hand in the pantry for days when you just want something quick or you just don't feel like it. That's a really
Yeah,
easy one to do.
and I love that brand. Yeah, that's a good
Mm,
one.
either.
Okay, so yeah, this was a good conversation about,
Yeah,
like,
I
alternative
agree.
protein sources and our problem that article that scared the poop out of us,
Oh gosh.
but I think
Yeah.
we found some good things that we could have that aren't protein powder.
Mhm.
Next episode, I think I'll talk about, good food because,
Yes.
Kat, our favorite podcast guest, she got to try out some make good food recently, and so I decided to give it a try as well and see if
Mhm.
it's gotten better since when I first used it and what it's looking like now. So,
Yep.
excited to kinda tell you guys what that's like. For our American friends, it's kind of like Blue Apron, but it's called Make Good Food, and I did give it a try. So on our next episode, I will briefly let you guys know what I thought about the meals.
Love it.
Spoiler, a little early spoiler. Pretty impressed that some of them are under 400 calories a serving.
Mhm. Which is amazing.
Kind of shocked by that, to be
Well,
really
I
honest.
was. I was not expecting that at all when you guys were
Yeah,
looking at the
they're
macros.
high protein, they're low cal, and the serving sizes are definitely big. So you won't even be eating the full serving size,
Right.
which is
Which
impressive.
is
So
awesome.
yeah,
Love it.
I'll
Love
keep you
it.
guys updated next episode.
For sure.
Cool. Well, like always, Steph, thanks for joining me on this episode where we
Yeah.
actually put the banter back into the
Right?
Bariatric Banter podcast,
And some swearing too,
which isn't tacky.
right? We're still respectable women,
Yeah,
okay?
we're still classy ass women, all right? I love
Ugh.
it so much. Keep telling us what you wanna hear us cover, test, try. We had a ton of positive feedback actually that you guys would love to see us try stuff and, like,
Yes. Yes.
test different types of products, test food, test
Yep.
recipes. So we're actually working through what that would look like, and we plan to get that started soon, but keep recommending, like, what products you want us to test, what foods and recipes you want us to give a try, what you want us to kind of rate and review. So we'll, um we'll take a bullet for the team and try the Starbucks stuff if you guys want us to, but
Mhm.
the reception has been exceptional that you guys would love to see us start testing things. So let us know what you would like because we'd love to do that for the podcast and maybe have a little section each podcast where we review something that we went out and tried for all of you and
Mhm.
give our honest opinion on if it tastes good, if it's worth it, and if the macros are working.
Love it. I'm down.
I
Let's
can't
do it.
wait. Okay, I
Let's
love it.
do it. Okay.
Thanks for joining me, Steph. Like always, it's just a pleasure to chat with you.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.